Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon.
Sometimes it's easier for me to keep going than to quit.
Life is real. You know what I mean? You have to go out there and put the work in.
And if you've never been in the pit at a NASCAR race, do it.
The time you put in while no one is around will be what sets you apart when everyone is watching.
Because a lot of times you be like, oh yeah, it's a cool little idea, but once they really understand where you're coming from, the meaning behind it all in your heart, what you really want to accomplish, that's when people dive in. They really get on board with it.
Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening in, wherever you're listening from. I still think it's so cool that somebody in another country can be right here in the room with us and stuff like that. Just want to apologize for a little bit in advance. We're breaking we have two audio geniuses here with a fan running in the room, and it's just hot. So you guys are going to get conversation with a little bit of back end noise.
Oh, with the help of technology, we'll cut that out. Yeah, you won't even hear it.
We'll find an AI that takes care of that. But we do have Lou Minor, DJ extraordinaire. And when I say extraordinaire, Lou's story, I've watched him for 10, 15 years. He's hired me to do flyers at his events and publications and things that he has. And as a DJ, especially with everything trending in music genres every 3 to 5 years, like you can't be known. I don't know if you can really niche down. So just to survive that for 15 years, we're both business owners outside of podcast guests and podcasters, and Lou's on a call with one of his clients. And I said, you can come to my studio just so that we don't have any, rather than you take it. And I don't want to record till after that's off your mind. But man, I got an idea and I'm like, okay, that's what it is. They're not buying a guy with some equipment that can play some music. They don't want to have to worry about audio at all. So you solve the problem of, we'll start with what you do and we can get into the story. But one thing that you said you had wireless speakers, battery operated in case they wanted music and this. We haven't even thought of that.
Yeah, that comes with experience. And well said, Tony, with the change of music trends over the years, especially the last 5 years, let alone 10, 15 years. Known you for a while, and you will definitely not be in the business if you stay stagnant. You almost have to be a chameleon when you're a DJ, because you always have to keep up with what's hot as far as music goes. Sure. In the wedding scenes, there's always wedding trends that people are doing. For example, the newest one is like this really fast, rapid photo op that couples want. Usually the photographer will take pictures with the friends and family on the side. They'll go to each table. Very like low key, but it takes a long process. But now it's a TikTok trend. One of my couples saw it on TikTok, said, we want to do it like really rapid, really fast.
Boom, 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 boom. I see
Get it done in like a song or two. So in that case, I play "She's a Maniac." The 80s song is really fast paced. Yeah. So I get them going. They'll go around the room and do the photo op and just keep it on with the music that's hot now. And I've always been changing the way I perform too, especially with DJs, with musicians. Now we're now integrating DJs with live music.
I was gonna bring that in. That's
one of the things.
We'll kind of Quentin Tarantino this one. Now you're doing fusions of the last project that you hired me to market was Saxophone / DJ, so kind of a live production. Yeah. And I heard you talk through with a potential client about that. Before we go there, I want to take a step back and just ask, how many times did you just say, I just want to pack my gear up? Like, is it a love of the music or what keeps you going? Is it just, okay, you're good at it and clients keep showing up?
Yeah, that actually sparked a new fire in me when we started doing fusions with musicians. DJing alone is fine. And it's great, but adding a musician just adds a different element of energy into the atmosphere, into the event. And then thank you for helping me do the flyer and marketing for the event that we did at the Dime in Allentown. We had a couple musicians come through, and it's nothing like it in the Lehigh Valley where you had a DJ play music alongside a violinist or a saxophone player and a guitarist. We had all three that day because we wanted to give the people a taste of what it's like. And if they like seeing that kind of entertainment, they could hire us for like their wedding, their Sweet 16, a corporate event. And thank you for putting that together on the flyer. You captured the essence of the live music.
I remember it like it was yesterday. There was like a pink guitar, I think like a teal saxophone, and it was almost like a retro 70s, not quite hippie, almost like an upscale hippie vibe, but it looked different. It had colors that you don't see a lot out here. It was on a black background. So it was enough to pick up and say, what's that? And our brains know what the shape of instruments are since we're kids. So I think it was super effective. And now when you look back to say you did a prestigious event at the Dime, I mean, almost every event you do now is a big deal. It is. And just to add on to that design on the flyer, I love the simplicity of it because you could tell what it is from afar. Mm-hmm. And so we distributed that flyer on like barbershops, all the local businesses in the area, and people who were just walking by, they could see on the window like, oh, okay, from afar, this is what it is. Yeah. And if they're interested, they'll go up to it, scan a QR code and whatnot. But yeah, the live music and the events, especially in the nightlife, is not a common thing, is not ubiquitous around the area. So we want to try to make it like that. And the start was there at the Dime. Unfortunately, it didn't take off. So there is a sad story there because the management wasn't really actively trying to promote it. And I tried to follow up with them, and it wasn't. They didn't really follow up or had any interest in an event like that. It was a success. The manager was happy with the numbers. We did bring in a crowd, and the bar did well. It was a good attendance. But I think they didn't really. They had other things in mind. And that's fine.
Didn't really actively pursued it.
Happens all the time. I build my whole business around it. Sometimes it's only 3 months, 6 months, a year. Sometimes for 2 months, I join a team, do some great work, go from there, cut a check, and go from there. It's I don't want to call it gig work because I've been blessed to have some nice sized projects, but for the most part, you proved it could happen. Like I'll tell you, I was just bringing him up, one of my clients who's putting together a reality TV show for Domino's, Los Domineros. He hired a few professionals, got it filmed, kind of ran out of budget to edit, and taught himself to edit. I follow up with him. I've been in touch with him over the year, but you fast forward, he's got as much gear as me, if not more, and he's getting into live streaming it, not even cutting it. So he's learning how to do the whole broadcast. It's the sort of thing I feel that you build something and you prove it out once, and then everything else comes.
Yeah, everything doesn't always go according to plan the way you want to. I got video content from it.
Yeah, you got content. You got a flyer. It was full.
It was good. It happened, and that way we have something to show for, and maybe we could pursue it later down the road. But for those who are listening who try something, it is not successful or doesn't lead into the trajectory that you want it to lead to, don't get discouraged. Use it as a opportunity to learn from it and maybe pivot and go in a different direction or try a different area. That could have been the factor that didn't make it a complete success for the future. It was a success that day, but it didn't continue. Maybe it's because the area, maybe we need to try that in Easton or
listen, if it was a successful event by the numbers but didn't catch on, it probably had nothing to do with anything in your control. Would have been any reason why it didn't kick off. But that's what people don't realize with success, how much luck is involved with it. You know what I mean? Like I think of how many lucky breaks I've had or something where it's like you can't put it down to anything other than I was just in the right place in the right time. And if bringing music is music was gig work before there were designers everywhere. I mean, great talented musicians might make $150 a night, entertaining for a while, and it's like, it's not that it's not valued, but now I'm sure you get this all the time. Well, why don't we just put a Spotify playlist on and let it rock? Like,
there's a couple.
Do you get that?
There was a couple who came up to me and like, I'm doing a wedding. I'm just gonna put a Spotify playlist and that's it. And it was actually one of my friends. Is one of my friends' sisters getting married, and it's gonna be a small wedding. But my friend was like, "Don't do that. Hire a DJ. Hire a DJ. I know a guy. His name's DJ Links." And so I got with a couple, and I asked them why they wanted to do a playlist of just music from a Spotify or Apple Music. And like, "Oh, we're not like party people. We're not trying to make it into a big extravagant event." And I convinced them to hire me, and they also were low budget, and they didn't have a lot on their budget. So I worked with their budget. It was a family friend, and I decided to help them out and do the event at a good cost, and because I wanted to make sure that their event, their wedding, was a success and was memorable for the guests, and just having a Spotify playlist. Oh man, it just
that puts a lot of stress on you, especially if you try to do the free one and then you have ads playing during your wedding. I couldn't imagine.
Oh yeah, that would have been a disaster. And they're low key people, so I don't. And I reassured them that it wouldn't be like something that's like a Coachella festival fest kind of thing, or I'll keep it low key, play the music that they want, but also make the announcements, and keep it formal as a good wedding and good event for them. And I even had that for like Sweet 16s too, especially if they don't have the money, or they went through the numbers, and after paying the food, the venue, the photographer, they don't have any left over for the DJ. Like, oh, we're going to put it on a playlist.
No, and then once they pay the DJ, the guy who designed the invitation, that did its job a year ago. Nobody's thinking of paying the designer. But no, I did. I learned that quick. I don't do weddings or design wise. Video, and I don't do it. I will. People have asked me. I have. But I don't.
Oh, all right, all right.
It's a lot of stress. It's a big thing, and I think that you kind of have to have a reputation for doing that. If I'm going to make $2,000 to $4,000 and be booked out every weekend and edit with that pressure all throughout the week, there's just so much that can go wrong. That these are people's like wedding pictures, like. It might be less now that everybody has HD video in their pocket. Like capturing the memories might be less valued, but I love to edit. I don't feel I'm the greatest photographer. I'm into video. I like video. Somebody tells me, hey, show up and make a video of our wedding. We're gonna have a consultation like everything else. There's a family friend with a low budget that's like, look, we don't got $6,000 for a wedding video, but it's something we really want. Okay, well, can we not do 3 extra people and like not have a 5-angle kiss to edit up on 4K footage? Like there's always ways you can go back. These cameras we're recording on now are like, they were the shit when they came out, but they're like $50. You can get them off eBay. They shoot 1080 60. You know a little bit about video. It looks fine. Shout out to everybody looking at us on a TV screen bigger than 36 inches. You got like a 42 or a 52 inch. Go in the comments and just go nuts. Tell me what size your screen is. I want to see something.
And most people view it on the phone, so these cameras will go great on the phone. But if you're watching on a 65-inch TV, it might be a little choppy.
No, do you know what? It's bad when you think of. I was watching. I needed something to fall asleep on. I'm going through and I was like, okay, Carrie Bradshaw. I remember like I was way too young to be watching Sex and the City, but it was a show I watched, and I asked ChatGPT, yo, why is Sex and the City so grainy? Like back then it was like 480, but not just that. They said that was the style. Having grain added texture to your video. So you go back and you look Friends, all that stuff. They had good cameras back then. Yeah. They had good lighting. They could make it crisper, but then when I thought that was intentional, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do it. And I've shown up to video classes with those cameras. I've made whole home movies on the cell phones.
It's not the tool. It's the user. You know, a lot of photographers and videographers that I've spoken to, they said that it's not the tool. I mean, it does help, but the person behind the camera, behind the turntables, behind the bar, whatever position you're in.
Yeah. If you have to pick one or the other. The expertise or the skill, you're gonna go with the expertise.
The expertise is the experience behind it on using that tool. And there's people out there making movies with iPhones, with just a camera phone, and if you're using whatever tool you're using, make it work. And just to backtrack a little
limitations.
bit. Yeah, no limitations.
See, what I think I get. Oh no, I'm not going to cut you off. You were going to backtrack. Don't lose it. Go ahead.
Oh no, the original point was the whatever you're using. Always provide the quality of service, no matter what tool you're using. Just like the person that didn't have a budget for the wedding, just like someone who hired you for their event to design and market their event, but they didn't have the budget in there. It doesn't mean that you're gonna provide a less quality product at the end of the day, because I never put myself in a position where I have a big head and I don't get to that point where I'm not going to do it because this is I'm not in that league anymore, or my ego's in the way. I'll still do small events. I'll do events where the cost is less than what I would charge, but I'll still put out the same amount of quality out there, because some people are not fortunate enough to pay for $100,000 wedding or event. And
DJ costs get up to 100,000.
They could, easily. Yeah, they could go up to. Well, I should say. Overall,
so like
the venue,
you get
lighting. Overall, that would be within in the food and cater. That would be within that.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a Coachella set. It's just going to be about 100,000. We're going to have links. We're going to have dancing mascots.
Maybe Jeff Bezos' wedding, the DJ was paid around $100,000. But no, in this. But yeah, I personally put out the same amount of work and effort into smaller events as I do with bigger events.
So I got one interesting to go on that. I was at a convention in Florida about selling video, and the guy goes and he shows 2 videos. One of them was just your basic flat, kind of still told a story. The other one, the guy looks at you with the camera, lights come out of his lens, he's smiling. It's like not the craziest special effects, but like the template stuff we see where people's eyes turn Terminator. And he's like, this budget on the right is like, let's just say he said $3,000. He's like, this one over here is $700, but we're not going to color. We're going to shoot it in automatic. And it's like, well, why would you give them less? Why would you devalue? He's like, we're targeting clients that don't know the difference or don't care. I sit there on sometimes, like these cameras actually have less grain sometimes than the cell phone. And when I go and I put it up onto, I'll watch it with my mom, and she'll have she has a nice TV upscaling it to 4K, and it literally looks fine. You could see, it feels like you're here with us. You don't want it to be like too crisp, and then the light on her face is also like I prefer to do an audio experience anyway, but the client doesn't know or care. So if all somebody wants is music, if all somebody wants is, hey, I want music to play, I would have asked the person with the Spotify playlist, like, is it because they want control over the type of music? Like, I'd kind of look down their genre of what they like and sell them the value of them not having to think about it.
Yeah, the clients, they usually want to be involved as minimal as possible when they provide like a Spotify playlist. They just want a Spotify playlist for their event. No DJ, no band, no musician, but we educate them on what it would look like with a DJ, with a musician, if they were actively looking for a DJ for their event. They may not know, hey, we do fusion as well with a musician. We do all these kinds of lighting effects, enhancements we call them, for the event, because a lot of them, they haven't thrown an event in their lives before. They haven't had a wedding. They haven't had a Sweet 16 before, so they don't know what's out there.
And nobody that has a wedding is going to go crazy on the I love that word you used, the extremities, or the
enhancements.
The enhancements.
Yeah,
because that's such a, like, I can tell the level of client you work with. I mean, we both came, we know what the 2005 to 2010 club scene looked like out here, and just everywhere in general, you know, and even like trying to enforce dress codes, or, you know, we're the only place with sports bars where you can't wear sports cats or jerseys. You know what I
that's
mean?
wild,
like,
man. That's wild. They try to push the dress code at a dive bar. That's not gonna fly with too many people.
Well, it's like, look, you can create the experience of something pristine. You really can. You can do the white box of purple bow. People are gonna pay $1,500 more for the same piece of computer just because it's an Apple. And Jobs knew that and knew how to sell that. But when I'm buying something that solves a problem, somebody comes to me and says, hey, I just need a logo. I treat them way different if they come to me and say, hey, I need a brand. All right, so you've done some research. You're not using that word logo. Most people think they need a logo, but really need a brand, and they're going to say logo. But you just start to pick up things about clients like, okay, so are you the owner or are you in charge? I'm in charge. Okay, that's who I want to talk to, because if you're the owner, I can tell you I'm too busy to listen to anyone's sales pitch, at least till August, September. I don't have the time to add things on to what we already have going on. So as soon as you're talking about, you saw Serato come along, you saw the push play come along, you saw the industry change.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you something about technology. It is amazing how fast it's changed over the last 6 years, 10 years. When I first started, I started with CDs. So I remember I got a pair of CDJs because at the time I was around 17, 18. I wanted to get a pair of decks. And at the time, the CDJs just came out. And this is early 2000s, around 2002, 2003. And so I decided, do I want to go the old school route and get a vinyl techniques, or do I want to get these brand new CDJs? So I got brand new CDJs, all CDs. They had the CD drive in there. And that's why if you see me scratching, I scratch kind of like backwards against the needle, because traditional turntablists and DJs would scratch on the other side, because I never had to worry about the needle. So fast forward into the software then, Serato came out, I think around 2003 or 4. And so before that, I had to mix by ear. Everything was through CDs, beat matching, had to figure out, this beat, this song is around the same BPM as this song. So when I first started, it was all beat matching by ear, and then Serato came out and you could see the waveforms, and then you could sync and do all that. And I don't use the sync button. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's just how I learn. I just ride the tempo. You got to
get in the feel.
The tempo, pitch blend.
I've had a few masters on different topics. We had Alan E on the podcast. He's Alan E J is the most viral character artist in the world. I think he just passed like 12 million. He's got like close to 700 some million views on one of his most popular episodes. And he came in and spoke about the art of speed charactering and how it was very much practicing strokes. And he still puts this stuff out on his social, but it's practice drawing a circle. You have to do it 1,000 times. And it's like he's taken principles of martial arts and applied them to character. So when you see people like, there's actually, it's funny, my coach will bring up DJs. I trained jiu-jitsu. I don't know if you knew, but shout out to Exalt Jiu-Jitsu. Evan Robinson decided he was going to be a DJ. Now, when Evan decides something, within a year and a half later, it's fully incorporated. It exists. There's a commercial building attached to it. But, he had a gym in a jiu-jitsu gym and says, I'm going to get some DJ stuff. Now, He has DJs in the area reaching out to him saying, do not charge less than $100, $150 an hour. You'll ruin the game. You take somebody who's paid their dues and knows people. I think part of a lot of the arts, like, how tied in with hip hop DJing is and things like that. It's like you're in a group of mercenaries. Like, I love all the club owners I still work with, and I'll tell them, like, you guys are mercenaries. $35 instead of $45 for an event that says $15 at the door. I'm not in that. Like, we can't fight over $10. You couldn't then, you can't now.
These DJs back then were like guns for hire. They would just pick up any event, any gig, no matter what the cost was. And a lot of it sometimes was even for free, just for exposure. The club owner would tell them. And promoters would also pay them very little because they have to get their cut too. But yeah, going back to the technology of the early days, I'm glad the software came out, especially now they have stems where you can separate the bass line with the vocals and instrumental. You could have an instant instrumental right off the bat. Before you had to actually purchase it separately.
For sure.
Acapella,
was it a separate
instrumental.
Too?
No, you could do it with any MP3
get,
file
like, the
now.
pack. That's awesome.
Now these DJ softwares are so advanced that you could take any MP3 file, as long as it's a good quality MP3 file, put it on your deck, and instantly just grab the acapella from it, or take it out, leave the bass line and the drums. There's 4 parts: melody, drums, bass line, and vocals. Some softwares can only do 3. But yeah, technology has gone to that extent, that advanced. And back in the day, it was so hard just to even beat match a song without the waveforms and software.
I think that barrier of entry stopped people from even doing it.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
do you think Serato or Sync Button or any of this stuff kind of made it too easy for people to get into the game? Or
oh yeah, it made it more accessible for the average person to get into DJing and beat match and learn just how to mix the song with the technology. Is so much easier, and it's just a tool. Those guys who have been, I call them classically trained, they, no matter what the software is doing, the laptop can crash. They'll still be able to keep the party going with maybe a vinyl record or a CD. If they have CDJs, just pop in a CD until the laptop reboots. Or beat match. I remember in this one situation where I was switching with another DJ. I was at the club, and for some reason his USB wasn't connecting to the controller that we were using. So I had my laptop facing the audience, so the screen was like facing the audience. I had to like set it a certain way, and his laptop was on the other side. And so we're like, okay, ready, let's switch over. No, it's not connected. Like, oh, great. So I had to go around, choose the next song, come back around, no waveforms, I'm not seeing the laptop, and I had to beat match by ear. And so if I didn't grow up in that era where I had to learn how to beat match by ear, I would have been screwed. I would have been train wrecking like crazy. And we did that for like 10 minutes, and he couldn't get it working for like 10 minutes. So I had to do that 3 or 4 times. And people in the audience like looking at me all crazy, like, what's he doing, running around?
No, you got to look super calm, man.
So we made it work. Calm. And that's one of those things where technology has made it easier, but it also handicapped some of the DJs, because if they're put in a situation where it fails, they don't have they don't have the skills to rely on to beat match by ear or keep it going.
If you don't got like a couple of these just in your pocket,
that disappears really quickly.
These are like bullets. Yeah, it was funny. I did a reel the other day, got some action on it. I said, don't never loan one of these out.
It's like handing out a lighter. You never get it back.
Yeah. They started making whole lighter leashes based off that sort of thing. But it's insane. I mean, even if you think back then, I don't know. I haven't been in a club nightlife, but I can't imagine people smoke cigarettes like that anymore.
Not like they used to. I've seen like cigar lounges. They've been coming up. They've been popular. I know there's some in Reading.
I'd have to I'm sure if I would
lounges.
go to a lounge with 40, 50, there'd be plenty of cigarette smokers. I don't know if that's a generational thing. Like, I can see people vaping at clubs, but I'm not even going to talk about nightlife. I've only been to like people my age. My kids don't talk about wanting to do it. Like, that was all there was to do when we came up with it. But, you know, you have a new barrier of entry. People have always said that. Design, I think any creative industry is similar. I think that with DJs, the fact that there is, like you said, Jeff Bezos wedding, picking songs very specific, that guy was probably on research for 3 to 4 months, or some nepotism.
Yeah, you got to do your due
but
diligence, man.
Yeah,
especially
like-
with those bigger events, you have to do your research. Especially with multicultural events too. I do a lot of those. Family came from Dominican Republic. I'm first generation here in the U.S., so I know a lot of Latin music. So the company I work for, they usually have me on these multicultural events, not only with couples who are from Latin America, Puerto Rico, or Dominican Republic, couples that have family from Russia, from Italy, from Haiti too. I know a lot of soca music in Bollywood. I play Bollywood music. Had many events where half the family were Hindu, so I play a lot of like music typically that is heard from India, so
how
I
does
love
that
doing
help
that.
with like you remind me, I was in an Uber the other day, and it was a gentleman, I believe he was from Morocco. He was Moroccan, and you know, I asked him what kind of music does he listen to, and he's like, "You familiar?" And I said, well, I bartended for years at an Arab establishment. We had a lot of Middle Eastern weddings, Persian, things like that. I like Persian percussion.
Yeah.
Does it sound anything like that, or what could we? And just the fact that he's talking with someone about music he loves. That's like if I went to, like, I don't know, Germany's a bad example, as hip hop's big out there, but you know, like I go somewhere and they're like, oh, you know, and they name like an American rapper, like, you know, Nas, we're like really into Nas, and I'm like, this would be. I think that's like just an our area thing.
That's where the research comes in for musicians or DJs or anyone involved in that kind of event. Couples who are from Morocco or from the Arab nations. The last event I've done, I helped out with like sound system, because not only do I do DJ, I do like production work, lighting, sound systems for events, for bands, and they wanted for that couple. Half the family was from a nation over by Iran, I think is Iranian, and a lot of their music is acoustic. So they had some musicians there, a lot of percussion, acoustic, a violin,
like finger drums, percussion,
finger
or
drum.
with a stick.
Yeah,
like Becky.
mostly finger drumming, like congas or tombales.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of it is background music. No like drums per se. No like typical like 808 beat.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
It's more. It's
some of these younger guys do throw some 808s to them and stuff. I'm trying to think. We're gonna shout. You know DJ Teo Haddad.
no.
You gotta know DJ. Oh man,
I'm not sure.
he's really into Premiere. Like, he's an actual DJ, but he also plays traditional Syrian music. Like in a band for some of the weddings and stuff that I did. But you know, when I see him on social, he's scratching the Premiere, and I'm like, oh, like you just
I
love
that.
music.
It's like a modern take on that kind of music, and that's great. The couple I worked with, they wanted more of a traditional music from that area, and very little vocals, maybe some chanting here and there. But
nobody thinks that at 8, 9, when the older folk go, that you have to have a backup for the 20 to 23-year-olds that are still hanging around the wedding. That's what we would say. We'd say once we switch to American music, start cleaning up. Everyone's going.
when
to
the
sleep.
older generations leave, the grandmas start packing up her belongings and says bye to everybody and leaves. But yeah, you got to play something for the younger generation too, and that's another thing about the music and our event spaces. You have to really know the crowd. You have to work the room and almost being like stereotypical. So as a DJ, you would like look at the room and you would see look at the age, look at the race, look at like a lot of factors and variables involved in like what kind of music, and you kind of like play to the crowd and see what works, what doesn't, pivot where you need to. And that's why I love doing these multicultural events, because I try to find a little pocket of music that people will get into. And I like to do blends and remixes of some songs. Like I have a Michael Jackson song that's like a salsa, so it bridges the gap between the Americans and your Latinos. So that's a good song to kind of like coast into, and then go into your like classic salsas. And I love, part of what I love doing is to make everybody have a good time, even if they don't understand the music. They may not understand the lyrics, they may not understand anything about it, except for the fact that it has high energy. They could feel it. They feel the energy. They know if it's like a high dance song or if it's a sad song. The energy is there. So that's kind of universal with music, right?
So you don't think, no matter what the tools are, you think 1,000 years from now, there's still going to be people in charge with picking the music and being responsible for the energy?
That's hard, man. With AI, I was at Applebee's like a couple years ago, and I saw like this little kiosk thing on the table says, you know, your mobile DJ, choose your DJ. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be out of business. So, and I imagine with AI, it's gonna be
there's way too much
to the point where DJs will be obsolete. But I believe that.
You think a computer could read a room?
That's where I was going to get to. I believe that a computer won't be able to pivot the way a human DJ, musician, or band leader is able to pivot and gauge what the crowd is feeling. And the AI may be able to pick songs and be great at mixing and blending. But improvising,
it can drive better than us. It could read
it could be hard for AI to like improvise on the spot.
Like DJ GPT, read the room, just scanning temperatures, biometric scans. Okay, I think I'm gonna play. And then if it would hit, we'd be like, oh shit, we thought there was some sort of soul in humans that connected and brought people together. So it's interesting. I always like to say, guests I bring on, we're not searching for the whole success. Just the fact that you're still doing it is a success. But there's so many cross things, and people can have a good experience listening to one episode, you know. And I'll steal this from Diary of a CEO. You get one free, man. I better not see percentage of non-subscribed that came back. Like, they can tell if people are watching your content and not subscribing. So definitely subscribe. But the one thing everybody has in common is like they've learned a set of skills or experience that can move them from one thing to the next. That improvising, I got into live streaming. Now I only have a few under my belt, but I'm paid as a consultant in this area to set all this up for people and do stuff. It's like I didn't just decide if I would get into dancing, I wouldn't be able to 6 months later, unless it was some very specific niche dance. I just haven't danced my whole life. But solving problems, not having the tools that you always need, not panicking. We were streaming live from Reggae Fest. Yeah. Like, you think it's hard to control the dog and the fact that we had to pause the episode for footsteps? You think that's hard to control? You got people drinking, there's fights breaking out. Like,
yeah, I mean, with AI, it's very linear. So being dynamic and switching your direction on where you need to switch, it's going to be hard. Either in podcasts, AI could be in podcasts, AI could be in DJing, could be in many things. But
I use AI DJ. I use AI DJ on my Spotify, but it knows me though. It knows me.
Okay.
So it plays, like, the only time I do it is if I need to lock in for half an hour. Yeah. And I look and I see 4 songs in a row. I'll play them in my head. And sometimes I just hit play and let those rock.
Oh, it's great for that situation. But,
yeah. If I have no time to think about what I want to hear, I just know I want to hear something good. Yeah. You can hit DJ and it'll be like, it talks to you, which is kind of weird. It'll say, this is stuff you were listening to in 2023. That couldn't hit at a wedding with mass people, but I think on a small scale, maybe that'll be something they seek out as people's DJ. Like, if you go to an event, let's say I'm going to a concert or here's one. And I've been a futurist on there. So since we're live, we'll post this up and we'll put it out there. 10 years from now, 5 years from now, if entertainment and music is still a thing, companies pay crazy money for what music you listen to. I know it's happening now, but the DJ AI is a new within the last year. If I can have 5 years of what people listen to and didn't hit skip on, like Spotify has always been a numbers business, not a music distribution. The artists
even DJ software now has AI included. Even the one I use by DJ Pro by Algorithm, it has an auto mix feature in there, and it's amazing. I utilize that for like ceremony or during dinner when I have to step away, and I use that to auto mix. But when dance floor opens up, all manual, and for AI in that kind of circumstances is amazing. But there's always going to be a demand for the nostalgic, the classic. You know, people would want to see a DJ spin vinyl records. Matter of fact, I did an event, and the after party, there was a DJ spinning vinyl records because the client wanted a DJ not to use a laptop, not to use anything but vinyl, and to get that distinctive sound that only vinyl can produce. Same thing 10 years, 15 years down the road, where maybe AI is taking over the industry, but there's also going to be a couple that be like, you know what, I like how they did it 50 years ago with an actual person, and they used
I think 90s, early 2010s was the best era of recording. I think that we got I think the art of recording 50s, 60s to be, because the artist, like, in order for you to be somebody they were even getting you in the studio for, you had to be so damn good. And when you're that damn good, I've been an audio engineer for somebody that damn good. You gotta let them be comfortable in it. You can't tell them get closer to the mic. It's like, look, you paid me here to do your thing. You push the buttons. Like,
just like earlier when we were talking about technology and how accessible it is for someone new to be a DJ now. Same thing with artists, singers, rap artists, hip hop. Even musicians who play instrument only, it's easier for them to do it now than back then. I read an article where David Bowie back then, he'd do a take, just do it one take. A lot of his songs that you hear on the radio, especially his hits, were done in one take. Now artists I'll be surprised if they could do that now in one take.
There are some. That's not a lost art, doing stuff in one take. You know what gets you good at one take? When you got to pay for studio time yourself.
Yeah, I remember the one time back when I made music. We got 1 hour. Let's cramp as many songs as possible. Let's do it.
No. I think I paid for. I was like, you said it's what, hour, $50 an hour. All right, here's 75. Set a timer. Hour and a half later, boom, move through that, cut it, boom. I'll take the edits. I'll edit myself. I just need it recorded, and I pretty much one taked my second album. I mean, obviously we could stop and do stuff. I didn't one take the whole thing, but every song I had, every verse memorized. It was already an album I had put out. I wanted to re-record it with new energy.
Oh, you're an artist? You're a rap artist back then?
Back then, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, I put a video out with my buddy about like mental health and just like a little story thing we put together. Like I did it and I was like, well, if I do it, it's not going to be corny. Yeah. But some might think it's cringe or whatever. I don't care. I was wearing this. I literally am rapping with a hoodie with this logo in Arts Walk about, for me, it was sobriety, the verse. The verse was about sobriety, but when I write, I don't do like I'll speak to a demon, like for me, alcoholism, but I won't call it thing. I won't say it has to have a drink. I won't do I think that if you keep it general, somebody who maybe struggles with something else can be like, oh, I overcame. Somebody struggles with depression. Oh, it's about depression.
And you try to do it as many songs as possible within that time frame in the studio?
No, this was 10, 15 years ago when I did it all. And look at this now. I'm not paying anybody for studio time.
Studio. Okay.
No. This was before I had a studio. This was in college. This was in a dorm room. There was a producer. Shout out to B. Lee. Yeah. He actually produced a few people that are gone on to be actors. Shout out to MDC, Matt Chua. He was there that day when We did Reggae Fest. He was working something and he stopped by on the mic. But can you imagine having open mics, people stopping by, starting it, and you got cameras going, trying to record
They're working hourly. You got to pay a studio.
There's a reason why I didn't do it this year. Like, it was a great experience, but then you had stuff, and not just that. You got friends texting you, hey, it sounds like shit over here. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay, redo the thing. So I would never again, like, I would run one and make sure everybody else stays comfortable, but I wouldn't.
You had like the same work ethic as like Tupac. One of the videos I've seen where he's like trying to cram in as many songs as possible because he knew,
known for that.
Especially on that level. I think it was Interscope Records, I think he was at, or Universal, one of those big records.
If you weren't adding to the energy, he kicked you out. They weren't in there smoking.
He crammed out like 3 or 4 songs an hour, maybe more. And you had that same work ethic when you didn't have your own studio, and that's and then with technology now, artists could be in different states now, in different time zones, and they'll put their verses together. Back then,
that's right around when I dropped out.
You had to be all in the same room to make a song, especially if it's a collaborative song.
We were doing jam sessions back when, before Corona, before Zoom, Google Hangouts came out in like 2009, 10. And I was like, this is the future. This is video chat. And it was like you had to download a client and had somewhat of a decent computer. It wasn't as accessible, but if you did, if 4 musicians did that, it was the only thing that had music in sync. So we had a keyboardist over here and we literally would do jams. I'm sure it sounded better now in my memory than it actually did back then, but I've always been kind of a futurist looking at what's coming up with this next. They're going to be talking about the vibe coding. Was connected with a guy. I want to get one of the first vibe coders on. Not I want to get. All I got to do is figure out when, and he'll be sitting right on that screen over there from San Francisco. But
can you explain what vibe coding is? What is
coding without knowing code, using special new AI tools.
Oh, so you're asking like GPT or AI, hey, I want to code. I want to make this program, and it codes for you. Yeah. Oh, nice.
I want to make this program. Here's the bare minimum. Boom. Does this work? Before you even connect stuff. So you still have to use code logic. Man. You still have to have the tenacity of a coder.
Okay.
And a lot of traditional coding, like, and I feel you. If I have a doctorate or an engineering degree, in code or computer science, I don't want some kid that doesn't know code to be able to do stuff.
Man, watch out. Anybody who's getting into IT, your job is going to be taken over by a vibe
coder. No, you still need human input.
Okay.
They're going to make apps that build apps, but to make the wild stuff, this stuff is very left or right. Like, it can't figure things out. Like, if I'm standing here and I say, change the background, it may not know this is the background, or it'll change all of this because this is here rather than just this and the background.
Okay.
So you have to tell it like the space outside the green line. You have to think in a way that is finite, that can't be, and that's counterintuitive to the way that we speak on a podcast, the way that we speak as humans.
So AI won't be able to replicate the creativity and the direction that you want the project to look. It just does the work. That is great. That's great, but it will never replace the creativity part. I mean, once it gets,
no, it'll never have a soul.
It won't. Yeah,
people don't know what creativity is. Creativity is not, I made a cool logo with a crown or anything like that. Creativity is, I've troubleshot this long enough that if I tried this battery, and this is a true story, anyone listening, before we got this going on, I'm recording on my cell phone connected to an AC adapter. I wasn't sure if it was the camera or the battery, and I've concluded that one of my batteries just didn't charge. Had 3 of them on the charger, didn't charge. I got nothing to do. We got cameers laying all over the place, but we're already running late on time.
We'll not lose. You don't give up on anything. As long as if the battery dies, the camera's like at a down. It just fell off the tripod. No, doesn't matter. You keep going.
That's happened.
And that mentality will take you far. I remember many instances where I would be in a situation where I would think, man, this is very discouraging and is unsuccessful, or I fell down and I thought I couldn't get up. But if you have that mentality, like, you know what, I'm gonna learn from this. I won't lose next time. It's just I'll learn and move forward. So I love that you bring that kind of energy to anything that you do. And
you been on Jamal Knight's show?
No, I haven't been on that one. I've followed
him?
Jamal's great, and I saw a couple of his episodes, and yeah, he's I've seen some of the guys local here that's been on, and I always enjoyed hearing Jamal, that energy that he brings. I've seen him at the DJ Cafe. I don't know. Have you been to like the DJ Cafe?
No, but my buddy Evan's telling me about checking it out. I've seen you
nice.
at the DJ Cafe. That's where they set up the little battles. Anyone can come in.
That's right. It's like it's like my buddy Johnny Quest. He organized it
Johnny Quest. His name
with Mike Nice. Mike Nice is also hosting the DJ Cafe, the International DJ Cafe, I should say, because it's in multiple states, multiple towns, and I love the premise of it. It's pretty much like karaoke, but for DJs.
Spoken word. It's like spoken word,
exactly.
Open DJs. Yeah, man, you gotta, and I think it's important to have that sort of community because, like you said, barrier entry is so low. I just started. I mean, I've been doing videos for years. People don't realize you could find stuff 10 years ago that has my tag in the director. I just didn't say I was the video guy. Started doing videos commercially out here, and it's like I can't make money on branding and digital marketing than offer video at $100 a video. Like you just can't. You can't.
You got to work on your value.
You got to respect the market that already exists, because who's gonna not pay $100 for the guy with talent versus the guy like. Especially if you're gonna, like you said, even with low budget clients, we give them the best. I don't always give them the best. I give them what they need. I'll talk them out of and you get that from sign companies. Somebody comes into a sign company, says, how much is it going to cost to make a sign? Without thinking, I tell them $1 million. $1 million? What? You can't be serious. You joking with me? Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to go with diamond, ruby encrusted. We're going to use real emeralds for this. No, I don't need all that. Okay, so what's your budget? Like, always start at $1 million and bring it down. If somebody says, well, I don't know, I don't have a budget, what does it cost? Let's diamond it. I'll show up with the drones. I'll scratch on drones. I'll be on a cloud like Kirby, and my drones will scratch from here. But that's going to cost you, the training, the stuff. And I think when you educate clients and let them know they can make the decisions, because they'll go and talk to their spouse on what's in the budget, what's not. But now they're not going to go be like, you know what? We didn't really need that green foam. We paid $7,500.
We're honest with them. We try to really understand their vision on what their expectations are, and look at the venue too, because some of the lighting may not work at a venue. So we're not trying to upsell them to get intelligent lighting and this kind of lighting, cold sparks, because they want that rustic feel, especially if they're at a barn venue. It's going to take away from that. So we look at the color. Sure. Yeah, we try to look at the venue, see what their expectations are, what kind of vibe they want to go for their reception, and go from there, and make decisions on what to suggest that will complement their vision and make it a success. Because we don't want to give them all this stuff, make a ton of money. But we're not in it for the money. We're in it to make sure
integrity,
that their vision is what they expect, and to get the most out of their event for their guests and family. So I really try to get to know them, ask them questions, see what their background's like, what kind of events they've been to before, to gauge, to ask what worked, what they've seen in the past events that they want their event, and go from there. And that's where we get to the point where we suggest this will work, this will look good, this won't look good.
Yeah, once they trust you as the expert,
and the value and money, and that's secondary. First is giving them exactly what they want, and going back to building up value, and going back to like the DJ Cafe is a great community where we could help people who are just starting to mix and perform, to kind of cultivate that kind of skill in them, and to help nurture that skill, and to help them build value, so down the road they could charge $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 an event for bigger events if they want to. But you got to start off like at $500, $800 an event. Build it from there.
I think what's been able to allow me to move in a couple different, like respecting the game, but like you said, if you got no reviews, no case studies, but you got the same DJ mixer and you think that gets you the $4,000 that guy gets, that guy's probably could be charging $7,000, but he's still trying to work with people. It's just sometimes it's like, guys, I'm so busy. Yeah. When I tell you that right now doing this podcast, I missed at least 3 client interactions for whatever reason. That's how it's been lately. Working on fixing that problem, whether it be through AI or hiring somebody, but everybody deserves the time when it's their time to do it. So what my clients tell me nowadays is charge enough that you're going to feel comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
I get mad at the cheap work.
Time is something that everybody knows it can't be replaced. It's the most valuable thing. That's why the government, when they try to punish you, they use time. Because time is something that is invaluable in many instances. So take that seriously and put your energy and efforts into using your time wisely, either to educate yourself, calls with clients, educating others, investing in others in the DJ community. That's why I love what Johnny and Mike Nice is doing, because they're using their time to make sure that these up and coming DJs have a place to shine and learn from each other and network. And it's great what they're doing in the Lehigh Valley. Much respect and shout out to Mike Nice and Johnny Quests. It's even Jamal was there. And guys who are veterans. I brought up Jamal. Not just like new DJs, but veterans too. They'll come through, drop a set, and
I'm not a DJ, and that's not something I plan on learning. Sometimes I'm like, man, my like this would be a crazy mashup. I'd love to learn the tools. I love listening to just DJ mixes, sometimes more than listening to produce songs, because that's the way my mind works. I like to blend things. I like to see symmetry between stuff. So like you get like some of these newer DJs taking an old Michael Jackson and throwing it in with Phil Jackson and chopping up the I Can Feel It. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. Like that's dope. And at least they created, like, I can tell when that person's in their flow and they're moving their stuff, they're transferring energy. It's not just pushing a play, it's not just pushing a button. The DJ brings the people, brings everything. And I just I wanted to take a look. I thought it was great what they were doing down there. If you want to shout out some information on the DJ,
I believe,
as well as like your socials and stuff, so we're gonna start landing the plane.
Yeah, I believe they do it like the last Sunday of every month at the Democratic Club in Bethlehem, and they also have done it at what was that place? The Wooden Match.
That's what I heard.
So they've done an event there. But yeah, follow them on, I think it's like International DJ Cafe on their Instagram or Facebook. Johnny Quest, DJ Mike Nice. If you look them up, follow them. They'll give you the schedule of their DJ Cafe, and it's great. It's great for someone who's just started. Or someone,
because there's no judgment zone as far as I can see.
No judgment. They'll give you I don't know, 15 20 minutes uninterrupted. You do you. If you mess up, that's fine. Continue mixing. Afterwards, other DJs will help you kind of give you tips and tricks on how to mix better. And it's all about bringing us up. We need that in the community, and especially in and nowadays where a lot of guys are more closed in, and they don't share as often as they used to. And I'm talking about knowledge. I'm talking about even music too. I'll swap music with someone if they like what I played. Oh, I love that mix, or that edit. Can you share it? I'll gladly share the edit. No, you don't have to give me anything. I'll love to share it. And
So
we're lacking
you're
that
exploring
nowadays.
human connection through DJing, man.
Yeah,
You're really
yeah. The
exploring
music, music is the glue that brings us together. And then afterwards, we kind of network talk and just talk about everything. You know, it could be just personal struggles with the music industry and DJing, or it could be equipment too. Like we talk gear. We're really like I'm especially a nerd when it comes to like sound and lighting. So we talk about.
Do you think it would be do something like
as
this
well
for podcasters?
For what do you mean, like
4 or 5 mics, like because I've actually done groups like this for public speaking. It's called Toastmasters. Is there something for podcasters where?
That remind me of like Drink Champs. I love what they do, and it's a bunch of people. Some of them are more like host, and some of them are like the artists with their friends. But it's hard to like. Yeah, it's the way you envision it. Similar to the DJ Cafe, bringing it together as a community. I think that's something that would work. Maybe live. Maybe that'll work. Have you ever seen like artists or the show like Kill Tony? It's like a comedy.
I'm familiar with the format.
Comedy.
I don't watch a ton. I follow a lot of comedians, so I know what Kill Tony is, but
yeah, that might work for podcasts as far as the format, because they'll have like a host and then they'll have random people just come in.
But even early Kill Tony, that was well produced,
and that was they'll give those comedians uninterrupted minute to do their
now you got a whole
their
venue
show
and stuff. Let me not let my brain go down that way.
That may be a new endeavor for you, man. Next season you have an open podcast with a random guest come through, do like a 10-minute 15-minute interview, boom, next one like rapid fire.
Or even just like, I like the focus group aspect. Yo, dude, pull the mic a little bit closer, stay in that warmth. I'm not telling you, my bad.
Oh, okay.
But hey, if I can command the voice like that, that's great. No, I'm here tickling the faders. It's going to be a good interview. It'll close out. Are there any other like socials or closing thoughts? Like if you could go back to when you decided to go analog, or with the whole
I love
Serato,
social media.
like,
That's been very very instrumental, and it's in the success of what I do, and as far as like other people too, and in our industry, it's a great gateway for us to show our talent to clients. And a lot of times when we do on consultation calls, they say, oh, we saw your Instagram, we saw your video on YouTube that you do this kind of work. I love the setup, because not only do they hear us, they see us, but they also will know what the presentation looks like, the setup, the lighting, and we'll showcase like moments at these events. They'll look at the video. Oh, I like how they did that, or it will generate ideas for them for their own events. I love how social media does it, especially with stories too, the stories and reels. And that's another great thing about technology, is the social media aspect of it. It helped so many people out in our industry to showcase what we're about. I know earlier in the days, like DJs would do mixes and they would like showcase and do like short reels, transitions, do wordplay now, tone play, and have the 360 cam. So they'll change the angle on them and then change it for the reaction of the crowd. That's a pretty a nice story or format that they do on social media. But back then, early 2000s, we didn't have none of that. A lot of it was like word of mouth.
Sure.
And I love the fact that we can now download reliable MP3s. I could tell you a story. Back then, when I first started DJing, and one of my first weddings, I was like maybe 20, 21 years old. And this is a time where Napster and LimeWire was out. We could download music on those
P2P.
P2P, those kind of software to download music. And it was always something where they would
soldier boy you. Yeah,
it was a risk because it was like, oh, am I going to get a virus, or am I actually going to get the song? And I remember the one wedding where I downloaded the first dance song, and I downloaded it off of LimeWire, and I listened to like the first couple seconds. I'm like, okay, this is a song, got it. But the thing is, when I played it, only the first minute of the song was audible. The last 2 minutes was just mute. But on the file, it says it was like a 3-minute song.
No,
so,
you got to listen to it all.
So, and that's the thing with downloading music from that time, that era, is unreliable. It could be a completely different song, or it could be just like the first couple seconds of the song, and then the rest is just mute. So that was a learning curve. I will never do that again. Now all the music I get is from Apple Music, from reliable DJ record pools.
Yeah, I mean, for the people that stuck with it, it makes the world easier to do stuff, but it doesn't. Like, I was just with a client wants to use ChatGPT for a logo. That's great, we can get really specific, but it doesn't make less work or less time. Anybody out there that knows how to show me how to just put a prompt in, and if you send me anything that looks janky, isn't vector, can't be used for actual commercial application, then save your time. But if AI is to the point that you could just get a good print ready vector logo, cool. When we get to that time, it's going to be so difficult to use that I don't know. I'll figure it out. I can't predict the future. I started talking about AI earlier on the podcast when ChatGPT first came out. I said this is going to scale stuff. I'm using it for podcast things. The whole world's going to be using this. It's going to be just like how we talk about Microsoft Excel. We're going to talk about ChatGPT, and it went semi-viral. I think that one had like 17 something thousand, and then one of them had like 100,000 with like 30 some thousand likes talking about AI. But I'm like, that'll be a different podcast. Like, there's the mystical of what AI can potentially do, and all the propaganda is selling those. Like, we got this thing in a box that can just read the room and make a DJ stuff, and you buy it, and it's like, it might be close.
It's seeping AI seeping into every industry that I know of, except maybe the farm industry. I mean, even I don't know if that's
it is.
If AI's going to seep into that,
it's super in the farm industry, and it was 10 years ago.
Because I know farm is like heavy in labor, but I'm sure
we just called it machine learning.
Robots that will do the heavy lifting of the hay and milking the cows.
Even simpler. Let's get a reading of how much water the plants need before we put how much water sprays out to them.
Yeah,
it's just sensors from here. There's literally and we got to end on this, because I was baffled, and this is the thing, like how you connect through people through music. I've connected to an entire life outside of people who normally are where I come from by having the design conversation. That client we were talking to before, I've tasted some of the best steak in the world working on an account with them. So it's like, you gotta stay with the human factor. You gotta stay with like, what is it that takes me and puts me out there? Why am I getting better at this? I just think it's important to remember it's that music, it's the connection. It keeps you grounded, keeps you humbled. You stay with the game, you grow from there. But they called machine learning 2015, 16. Like, they've been training this stuff for a while. But hey, do you have any socials or anything like that you want to drop?
Just find me on Instagram, DJ Links, on Instagram, and I'm usually on there. And same thing with Facebook. I try to keep all the platforms the same, so it's easy to find me. So DJ LINX, and add me and see what I'm about, and reach out if you need a DJ for your event.
Cool. Thanks you so much, brother.
Thank you, Tony.
We'll talk a second off mic, but I'm going to kill it, man. Thanks so much. Thank you for listening to another episode of I Will Not Lose Podcast. To support the show, visit iwillnotlosepodcast.com. You can subscribe to your favorite podcast player, share the episode link, leave a comment. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. And if you're listening in and can't see the QR code for donation, go to tothedesigner.com/links. And there's instructions to donate up there. Thanks so much.